welcome to Dive In With Me, a show by the Fondation Aimé where we talk in different languages, depending on our various guests about the benefits of music. Thank you to Radio Ara for giving us the opportunity to present the various advantages of music on people on the air. Today we want to bring you closer to a project called pOpera. pOpera is a community opera project that works with a co-creation system. So what does this mean? For pOpera, we reunite refugees, newly arrived people, and Luxembourg citizens to work alongside professional artists. Together they write a libretto, compose the music, and perform on stage. Everybody will have a voice in what the final opera will look, sound, and be like. From the various ideas to what the story might be, to including all different kinds of music, all the participants are equally treated. What is also important for this project is that the artists visit all the participants in their various living situations, to try to understand them better, to have them create new friendships, and to bring a deeper impact on the participants. Our invitee today is Amit Dhuri, one of the musicians leading the project. Every Monday evening, he works with the participants on rhythm, voice, and music. He holds the group together, really, visits concerts with them, and simply talks to them. Amit is also a percussionist that has come from India to Luxembourg 3 years ago, and since then he has been working a lot with the Fondation Aimé. So, hello, Amit.
Hello, Sarah.
The sound check-in. So, Amit, we want to know what your favorite music is. This can be a band, an album, a group, an opera, whatever you like.
Well, to talk about one particular genre of music as my favorite, it would be really unfair, unfair to the rest of the genres that I listen to. But I grew up listening more to, I was exposed more to Bollywood, And even in my family, they all listened to old Indian songs, mostly Hindi and even Marathi, that's my mother tongue. And I was exposed to majorly old classic songs from India. And I have more favorites from that era, somewhere from the 60s and 70s and 80s. I'm more attracted and attached to songs from that era. And talking about my favorites, well, I listen to something which more falls into the category of fusion, So I would listen to something which sounds Indian classical, but mixed with modern beats or something which is not from India. And when I find a blend of these kind of sounds, then that becomes my favorite. There was this Indian movie which came in the year 2000, I guess. I think so, 2000, 99, 2000. And the name of the movie is Lagan. Okay, it's an Indian movie in which Amir Khan was the lead actor, and the music composer was A.R. Rahman. So that whole album, I love the whole album, and almost every song is one of my favorite.
And we're back with Dive In With Me, today with Amit Dhuri. So, Amit, how did you come to music, and how did the collaboration between you and the Fondation Aimé start?
All right. So, when I was in India, I started performing as a professional artist since 2008 with this company which was doing interactive drumming. And I started with them from the last year of my college. So before I was out from my college, I was already performing at a grand scale, and it continued after that because I even got a job later. But I found that being on stage is much more better for me, and I was more happier that way. So I left my job. I continued with my studies. I did my MBA, and while I was performing, and later the performances kept on going, but I didn't want to go back to the corporate world. So I started teaching in two of the colleges in India. And at that time as well, I was performing as a full-time artist, and the teaching job was more like a part-time thing for me. And I kept on doing that till till 2020 when COVID happened. And during that time, everything was closed, but we still continued doing these sessions online. So it was still fun because that was the only option at the moment. And then in 2020, we moved to Luxembourg. And after moving to Luxembourg, it was a bit tricky situation for me because we didn't know anyone. And I was just trying to send messages to everyone over here that, okay, this is what I do, this is what I did before, and if there is something that we can do together. But since everyone was in the same zone at that time, everyone's situation was almost the same. So I didn't get too many positive replies at that time. But fortunately, after a few months, I somehow got in touch with few artists with whom I started performing on the streets right here on Grand Rue, close to Hamilius. I started doing street performances. I made sure that I got my videos recorded at that time, and I used those videos for my promotion. And slowly, I got in touch with more people similarly, and I got in touch with Janu. He's a fantastic handpan player. So I got in touch with him, and apparently after meeting him, I got in touch with you. And it was super cool after meeting you because so many things changed for good. I've been busy after that, working with Janu and some other artists, playing music for people at the old age homes, and doing concerts at hospitals and for kids with special needs, and doing these super projects. Like last year we did Let It Out, and this year it's pOpera.
And what are the differences between Luxembourg and India on working on workshops for all different kinds of people?
In India, if I could give you a range from what the number of audience that I used to face, the least number of audience for which I have performed in India was 10. That was the least. I think it once went to 8 or something, but I remember 10. That was the least. And the maximum that I've performed for in an interactive session was at a stadium, so which fairly had around 45 to 48,000 people, and it was super cool. So I always had fun being at these sessions because it made me feel like I'm on the top of the world. No matter what is the number of audience, I always had the same feeling. So in India, most of these sessions were happening for corporates. We did sometimes normal social sessions as well, sometimes for the kids, and sometimes at weddings and some social events at schools and colleges. But now here in Luxembourg, when we do, I won't say similar session, but somewhat similar sessions for people at the Parkinson's or for kids, I feel a bit of a difference, even if the concept is somewhat similar. At Parkinson's, what happens is they are not looking for something. For them, it's not a one-time activity. It's an ongoing activity, and the best part is they will come every 2 weeks. They will be there just because me and Janu are coming there to play music with them. And it's really very nice to see. I mean, I'll tell you one of the experiences that we had. There was one gentleman who always came to attend this session on a wheelchair. And whenever we saw him, we felt a bit low because we always saw him coming to the room with his head down and his hands laid on his armrest of the chair. And we could make out that, he's not physically very active and not very fit looking at him. But after 2 sessions, we were very happy to see that we gave him a shaker, and he was actually playing that shaker with rest of them. That's what we consider as a huge success for this kind of session, because that's the whole idea. to bring some music, to bring some life with these kind of sessions for people suffering with Parkinson's. And we have similar such experiences with other sessions that we do at various centers for kids with some disability or kids with special needs. Last year, I guess it was last year, we were performing at one such center, and it was quite strange to see these reactions of the kids. That one of the kids, he just came to me while I was performing. At first, he just kept his hand on my shoulder, and later he hugged me for the whole time, and he stood like that until the whole performance was done, and then he left. And we couldn't understand why he left. And later the caretaker told us that particular boy, he never interacts with anyone. He's never close to anyone. And if he does something like that, that means he really felt something. And it was quite magical for us. In fact, just last week, we were performing for kids with special needs at a center in Ettelbruck. And these kids were like 5 years age, I guess, 5 years or 6 years. And we were shocked to see the way they reacted to the music. I mean, if you give a normal person to play a shaker, there will always be a chaos, It's normal. Everyone does that because it's more like a toy. Everyone considers it and it keeps on shaking, and it's super cool. And that's what we expect from everyone. That's the whole purpose of it. But when we gave these shakers to these kids, the way at first we felt this connect with all the kids which were there, even with the teachers, and they responded so well. We didn't expect them to be on time, but they were all on time. It's really strange. And by the end of the third session, there was this little girl, she was so happy. She kept on smiling for the whole time. And while we were performing, she looks at me and smiles and smiles and smiles. And I guess at one moment she felt so good that she made a heart with her fingers like this, and she's showing it to me, And it felt so good because that's something, it's priceless. These reactions you get at concerts, like huge concerts, but to get something like this from a kid, it's really special.
So we just listened to the drill song that came out of the Let It Out project that you did last year with Paulo Lamero in the Luxembourg prison. So to everyone that wants to listen to the whole song, it's out on Spotify. It's called Drill. You can find it on the Spotify of the Fondation Aimé. But today we talk with Amit Dhuri about our latest project, which is called pOpera's. So for this project, you are working together with Portuguese musician Paulo Lamero, librettist Antoine Pourru, composer Tim Wallman, stage director Anne Zimmer, and singer Stephanie Ortega. And you work together on the first showing in September, and you are now leading the workshops every Monday. The whole project is also documented by David Laplante, which is doing a whole documentary for us on this very, very good community opera project. And the project is also open for everyone that wants to participate, but mainly we adapted the process to the refugees living in refugee centers across Luxembourg. And so for pOpera, you follow a co-creation process, which means that everyone has a lot to say on how the final piece will be created. They write the storyline, help compose the music, and will perform alongside professional musicians on stage. Can you explain a bit what was your role in that project and how are you feeling about it?
Right from the beginning of this project, it was really funny the way I remember Paulo introduced me to the whole team. And because after I was the last one to get introduced to the whole team, and Paulo introduced me. This is Amit and he does nothing. And everyone was like, okay, so if he does nothing, then why is he here? And later he said, so it's only just Amit and me. who does nothing in this whole project. Rest of them, they have their jobs, but we will just be here because we would like to be here. And somehow that's how people saw us, that okay, they don't do anything. But I think my major role was to bring people closer and together, and to keep them together till the end of the project. And somehow we all succeeded in that. And now it went on so well that now we are having these workshops, so that they can all attend the workshops, not just the ones who already participated in the project, but it's open for all the people who are who want to be a part of this project, because it's going to be there for more 2 years. We just did the first edition. There are 2 more editions that are coming ahead. So even for the people who are listening now, if you are still interested in joining the project, it's still open. Get in and we can make some music together. So now that we have these workshops on Mondays, we just make sure that we stay connected, we make some music, and we try to go to, I would rather put it as if what we did in the first edition of pOpera was really great. But these participants are not technically artists or singers or musicians. They are normal people. And when we did pOpera edition 1, we started from level 0 and we took them ahead. But the workshops that we are doing now, we are just trying to take a step behind, and we try to go below level 0 and start from scratch. So on the Mondays that we meet, we try to bring out something that they already know from the land that they come from, and we try to make music with things that they already know. Sometimes we even try to make music with shakers or some other instruments, or try doing body percussion or something like that, with which they get super comfortable, not just inside the workshop, but also comfortable being on stage in front of many people, so that they get the feel of being a musician or being an artist in front of everyone. So that's the motive. So that, and the best part is everyone is super motivated and they all go home happy. So that serves the major purpose, so everyone is happy by the end of the day.
So what about the participants? Because we have been talking about them a lot. They are a very diverse group. They speak a lot of different languages. Most of them come from Spanish-speaking countries. So how's your Spanish now, Amit?
I could say ¿Cómo estás? And maybe poquito and some few more words. I don't remember at the moment. But speaking of the languages, we have people speaking English, Luxembourgish, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and then we have people speaking Arabic. And did I miss one?
The Syrian?
The Syrian, yes, the Syrian people as well. So at the moment we have 7 languages that I can think of. And we do have conversations in all the languages because every time somebody says something, each statement has to be translated. So I try during my workshops that I don't speak much, so nothing needs to be translated, but the message is still conveyed through music. For example, if we are doing a piece which involves sounds, may that be sounds made by an instrument or sounds made by a human, anything that doesn't need a language, because we all know that music itself is a language. So we just take that principle and take it ahead, so that we don't need any translations, we don't need any notations, and still we manage to make or put up a piece together. And as I said, we all go home happy.
You're not just going home happy, but apart from the workshops, you also attend concerts with them, no?
That's one really huge part, played by you guys, that they also get to attend these wonderful concerts every time, because I was there at one as well. And it's really nice to see all the other artists perform. And even for the participants, I saw them, the way they enjoy. It brings so much light to them. and it's something which is needed at the hour, that's something I think not just them but everyone from us needs, like some ray of hope or some light of hope, as we say, which brings in a little bit of happiness in our day-to-day lives, and you are playing a major role in that. So super good job.
What is also really interesting about pOpera is the mix of people and the way they interact with each other through music, even if they cannot really understand each other language-wise. They put on a show together, so really congrats to you for this achievement.
Thank you. The credit goes to each one who is associated with the project. May that be the participants, may that be all the team of the artist, may that be David who does our videos, and everyone has got a super important role to play, because if one day one of the participant is missing as well, we feel it. We feel that, okay, if that person was here at the moment, we could have had one more angle to whatever we are putting to, because we are not really looking at something which is perfect. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to get into the perfection. We just want to do something which makes these participants happy, and also ultimately once the participant is happy, the audiences will definitely be happy. So we are looking forward to this presentation that we are going to put forward for December.
So before we wrap up, we have a small sound recording of pOpera, of the show that you did in September at the Philharmonie. And so maybe let's just have a listen. Recommend yourself. So before we leave, Amit, can you recommend something to our listeners, please?
Well, I would like to let everyone who is listening to this podcast, I would like to them to know that for a person like me who doesn't come from a musical background, someone who cannot read music, someone who cannot write music, but still managing to survive with so many wonderful artists around me, one major thing that helped me was to be open to all kinds of music, open to all kinds of things which are related to music. I was always hungry, and I was always keen to understand all the different combinations people use in their cultures, and the different type of music that comes ahead from these cultures. It has always helped me to open my brain, and also helped me to blend in with all the different kinds of artists, and perform with them with the feel that they want to portray. So at the moment, I'm performing with someone who is playing meditative music, but at the same time I'm also accompanying someone who is playing folk music, and at the same time I even do gigs with a DJ playing a djembe, and at the same time I do workshops with things which are not even considered as instruments, like spoons and all those kitchen utensils. So I would like to let everyone know that just be open to all kind of music as much as possible, and just welcome everything, so that you all can feel that whatever you hear, it's just the best. You never know what will hit you at what moment, so just be open.
Thank you, Amit. This was really, really insightful, and I think we need to get in more about you not reading music but still doing an opera. So that really, really shows how open you are to new kinds of musical experiences. So thank you very much. Thank you for your interesting thoughts. Thank you for participating with us. And thank you for just being with us today. The feedback loop. In the feedback loop, we listen to different kinds of people participating in projects or concerts and telling us what their experience was. So today, we will listen to the participants of pOpera as they share in their languages how they feel about the project, how they feel about the process. So let's give it a listen.
The diversity and the zero experience required to perform this project.
In a single word, what I like is the people.
I like Amit the most. I had to say that. So the most I liked, I think, the process of being together and trying to figure out what we want to do and getting to know everyone.
Ich habe ganz viele neue, tolle Leute kennengelernt.
Somos personas de todo el mundo, compartiendo en una sola familia realmente.
C'est un terrain d'expérimentation assez dingue, de pouvoir écrire en fait la voix de 17 personnes avec les couleurs très spécifiques que chacune d'entre elles peut présenter lors des séances. Projet assez fou aussi de monter ça dans 3 semaines. Puis avant tout, une très belle rencontre humaine.
Really, I feel myself. This is the first important things for me. And it's an amazing experience. I have no background for anything that we made it here, but I think we make in a short days or short period an amazing things.
Thank you to everyone for listening to Dive In With Me, a show by the Fondation Aimé, supported by the André Losch Fondation. Thank you to Radio ARA for hosting the show and for supporting us on this venture. Thank you to Taipan for a very, very beautiful jingle. You can also listen to Dive In With Me on Spotify and on every other streaming platform.